Has anyone noticed that the world seems to be changing? Volcanoes are erupting that have lain dormant for 400 years. Violent earthquakes are flattening cities to the ground, and devastating tsunamis are washing away thousands of people and vast areas of land. Every week we hear of another earth change on the news. We also see global recession, countless wars happening around the world, and the Middle East is transforming so quickly we can barely keep up with the daily news of the next dictator falling from power. So why are all these events suddenly happening? What is causing this chaos and upheaval, and how are we all going to be personally affected? This dramatic time in history has actually been predicted for thousands of years by famous seers such as Nostradamus and ancient civilizations and indigenous cultures such as the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Cherokee and Hopi Indians. Many books have been written about the end of the Mayan calendar in 2012. Even the Bible and other religious texts speak of an apocalypse and the end of time. But amongst the fearmongers and doomsday believers, there's a group of people around the world who are hopeful at this time. They believe that, yes, indeed, we are facing the end of the world as we know it, but that mankind has the potential not to perish or see the end of life on earth. Rather, they are declaring that after this difficult transition is over, a new world will be born and a golden era of peace will occur. The earth changes apparently are ushering in an evolutionary shift. Throughout history, the Mayan calendar has predicted all different stages of evolution, from man's discovery of language, the development of culture and musical ability, to the invention of technology. The last two shifts in evolution that were predicted by the Mayans were the era of power, which has played out since 1755, and the era of ethics, which began in 1999. The era of power was initiated by the Industrial Revolution. We've seen evidence of this era as many corporations, countries, scientists, sports stars and celebrities have developed great economic, technological, political, intellectual and physical power. But unfortunately, this era of power has greatly hurt our planet. Our desire for power grew out of control. Many unethical systems of greed and competition were put in place, leaving a few with plenty, while millions have been left without. But this imbalance of power began to change in 1999, when we ushered in another era predicted by the Mayans, the era of ethics. This era was initiated by the IT revolution, which created an evolutionary shift whereby all unethical systems and unethical people began to be exposed via the internet and lose their power. In the last decade, business people such as Bernie Madoff, corporations such as Enron, and many politicians have been sent either to jail or had to resign over sex or money scandals, and even institutions such as the Catholic Church have been forced to own up to the decades of child abuse that they had covered up. The earth changes are also exposing unethical practices. This was most obvious in Haiti, whose devastating earthquake brought all the poverty, the suffering, and the inhumane practices of child slavery to our attention. And most recently, the Japanese tsunami revealed how nuclear reactors are being built on unsafe ground that can potentially contaminate both the population and the surrounding environment. The era of ethics has also affected us personally, as our own unethical behaviours began to surface. We had to face our own inner demons, as it was revealed that we were living beyond our means, owning houses whose mortgages we just could not afford, and buying everything on credit, trying to be something different in public than we really were in private. Yes, no one has escaped being publicly exposed by the era of ethics, as humanity took its next evolutionary step towards truth and transparency via the internet and 24-hour news cycle. So, what is next for humanity? Well, in March 2011, humanity entered the final era on the Mayan calendar, called the era of conscious co-creation. Mankind is taking another evolutionary leap and realizing that humans can consciously co-create their own destiny. This means our thoughts, feelings and intentions determine the events of our life. people will begin to realise that the fate of the world will be determined by the choices of every individual on planet Earth. The first major event that triggered the era of conscious co-creation was the inauguration of Barack Obama. He inspired and proved to millions that no matter your colour, creed or social standing, you could create your own destiny and even become the most powerful leader in the world. We see this era of conscious co-creation playing out today in the Middle East, where people are overcoming their fear and standing up to brutal dictators. They are choosing freedom instead of oppression. They are finally waking up to the fact that they are not victims and can change their own destiny by their intentions and their desires. So, despite the great turmoil in the world that we see on the internet or on our TV screens, you do not have to fear your own destiny. You can take an evolutionary leap and consciously co-create whatever future you desire. You can survive earthquakes, tsunamis or volcanoes if you move to safe ground. You can recover from a lost job and create a new career that you love. Or you can stand up to a brutal dictator in your own life and throw him out of power. Your fate is in your hands. Keep checking back on Spirit Media Inc. to find out more information about the earth changes and how you can transform and thrive in these evolutionary times.